Hello and welcome to the Your Natural Healer channel, the Crystal Educational Series. My name is Tammy. For those of you who do not know me, I am a Reiki Master Teacher and a board certified holistic health practitioner. For those of you who have taken and watched the videos in the other classes, welcome back. It's nice to quote unquote see you. And today we're going to discuss Lapis Lazuli. But before we get into that, let's do some quick housekeeping. As always, if you're not subscribed to the channel, if you could please subscribe, it really does help the algorithm. It's so funny because before I would watch certain YouTubers over and over again in their different videos and things, and I never subscribed, and I didn't realize the importance and the effect it has in supporting their channel. So anyway, if you do watch my channel or somebody else's channel regularly, go ahead and subscribe. And even if you don't watch it regularly, you can go ahead and subscribe and just hit, the notifications and turn it off. It supports people. These videos, I never thought how hard can it be to be a YouTuber, and it's like, oh my gosh, there's a lot of work that goes into it. Anyway, I digress. Sorry, I sometimes do that for the newbies. Anyway, so also at the end of the video, if you could go ahead and give it a like, that helps the algorithm. And then feel free to leave a comment. I ask to be kind. Everybody in this world, we get behind a keyboard sometimes, we can be a little vicious. So, we're all spiritual here. So if you don't have anything nice to say, just don't say anything, okay? So with that being said, we're going to talk about Lapis Lazuli. We are going to go into some the history of this gemstone. We will discuss the planets and the zodiacs associated with Lapis Lazuli, as well as the elements, also numerology. We'll then go into the spiritual, emotional, and physical attributes of this crystal, and then we'll touch on some affirmations and some essential oils that can work well with this crystal. It sounds like a lot of information, and it really is, but I try to give you as much as I can in a basic format without this becoming a full-blown Lapis Lazuli class, which I could probably do easily an hour on every single crystal, because there is a lot of information out there. And I always say, you will find conflicting information sometimes throughout your spiritual journey. It is up to you to determine what your intuition, what your gut tells you is correct and what is not. Because remember, a lot of this is not an exact science. But anyway, let's not worry about that stuff, and let's dig in and have some fun. All right, so let's get to it. Lapis Lazuli. All right, let's talk about some of the historical uses and some facts that you should know about Lapis Lazuli. Today's market is saturated with crystals, and I'm sure for those of you who are not new to this realize that. And you have to be careful because there are a lot of fake crystals out there, and there are especially a lot of fake Lapis Lazulis. Lapis Lazuli is an expensive gemstone. Well, it's kind of like on it's not like super expensive, but it's on the higher end of the normal range. Okay, it's more expensive than, say, rose quartz. So what some of these places do is they take agate and they dye it blue. So when you're buying Lapis Lazuli, if it's a bright blue, most likely it's fake. And the only other way you would really know is by breaking the crystal open, which obviously you don't buy a crystal to break them open, but if you broke it open, the inside would be a different color than the outside. So that's how you would know it was a fake. So just do your due diligence when selecting where you're buying your crystals from. I know that you could find crystals cheaper sometimes on Etsy or Amazon or eBay, and that's not saying it's not a safe place to buy crystals. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying you get what you pay for. So, if you find a reputable dealer who's a little more expensive, but yet you are absolutely sure that they're not selling fakes, I would probably spend a little bit more money than to spend the money and then eventually find out it was a fake and have to spend more money to buy a real one. So anyway, just take heed and, like I said, do your due diligence. Now, historically, oh my God, there's so much information out there. I could probably do a whole video just on the historical uses of lapis lazuli. Egypt loved this crystal. For example, King Tut's sarcophagus was peppered with this beautiful blue gemstone. And if you look at a lot of like museum pieces, especially the jewelry and the head gear that they wore, a lot of it you'll have that beautiful blue stone in it. It's lapis lazuli. Also, another neat fact in Egyptian history was that Cleopatra's eyeshadow was made from ground down lapis lazuli. And that makes a lot of sense because there are very few things in the natural world that naturally have the color blue. So, like I said, it's kind of makes sense that they would grind that down to make eyeshadow back then. Also, the pillars in St. Petersburg Cathedral used lapis lazuli, have lapis lazuli on them. Paintings done by both Da Vinci and Michelangelo used ground down lapis lazuli to make their beautiful blue shades of paint. Also, it says that in the Bible that when Exodus stood upon a slate and saw the God of Israel, that slate was lapis lazuli. So that's kind of a cool story as well. You also need to remember that lapis lazuli is a highly vibrational stone. Now, there are other stones out there that are super high in vibrations that beginners need to really be careful to work with, and I'm not going to go over them here. It's not intense like that, but it is highly vibrational, and I did put on here, don't meditate with it for more than 2 hours. Now, that's not saying that you can't wear a piece of lapis lazuli jewelry all day, or if you carried it in your pocket all day, or if you're at work and you put it on your desk and you're in its presence for 8 hours a day. I'm not talking that. I am talking about a hardcore 2-hour meditation session where that's all you're focused on is this gemstone and whatever you're meditating about. And nothing bad's going to happen. You could just overdo it. Okay. So just, if you're meditating with it, don't use it for a long period of time. However, you can wear it or be around it for, all day. All right. All right, let's briefly discuss some of the chakra associations of lapis lazuli. This gemstone is associated primarily with 2 within our 7 main chakras. The first being the throat chakra, which is our 5th chakra. And again, I'm not going to go into chakras in details in these videos, but throat chakra has to deal with communication, as well as your authentic self, telling your own personal, your own authentic truth. Third eye chakra is the other one that is associated with this gemstone. And most everybody, when they think of third eye chakra, they automatically think of intuition, psychic ability, and things like that. And that is very correct. But also the third eye chakra has to do with inner knowledge, knowing ourselves on the inside. So as you see in this course, once we start discussing the spiritual properties of lapis lazuli, you'll really understand the connections between this gemstone and our 5th and 6th chakras. All right, let's talk about first some planets that are associated with lapis lazuli and some of their energies. And I am not the expert on planet energy. It is something that I am currently learning about. So if there is some information that you would like to share, again, please add it to the comments. I'm just giving you some brief information so that you can either go and pursue more research on your own. So first would be Mercury. And the planet Mercury has a lot with stimulating one's communication. And that makes sense because that ties into our throat chakra. Next would be Jupiter. And Jupiter energy is associated with joy and happiness within ourself. And I think you can tie that into that the throat chakra with the communication, as well as the third eye chakra in that inner knowledge about ourselves. Saturn, and this energy has to do with growth and ascension, and Saturn is a very, very strong energy. And finally, Neptune. Neptune energy has to deal with change and metamorphosis, as well as compassion and intuition. Lapis Lazuli in the zodiac has to deal with Sagittarius, which Sagittarius energy has to do with adaptability and change. Aquarians have energy that deal with reflecting the past and being able to figure out how to move forward. And Pisces has to deal with energy with dreams and imagination and creativity. So again, if you have something to offer in regards to the zodiac energy, please add it in the comments. Would love to hear what you have to say. And then finally, wind energy. Wind energy has to deal with movement and change, metamorphosis, things of that nature. Think of the wind, that it blows, it can change directions and it can move freely. And it can be very powerful and it can be very subtle at the same time. All right, as I told you, Lapis Lazuli works really in conjunction with two of our higher chakras. So spiritually, we have a lot to talk about with what it can do for us. Lapis Lazuli connects the mind, the throat, and the heart. Now, while it's not a heart chakra crystal, but it does connect those two with the fourth chakra. It really, really opens up the third eye chakra. There's a lot of crystals and gemstones out there for the third eye. Lapis Lazuli is one of those top ones, and that's why I put it in here as it's really one that you should add to your crystal toolbox. It promotes ascension, higher knowledge, and truth-seeking. It processes your thoughts and manifests them. So it's really a great tool for working with your guides and spiritual beings, as well as if you're someone who is trying to work on manifestation. Lapis Lazuli is great in crystal grids. It's great, when you're meditating and working on manifestation. It's just a great crystal for that. Now, Lapis Lazuli also aids in objectivity and clarity, self-knowledge, and reflection. And that's kind of working with both your fifth and sixth chakras. Working on your inner self and that inner knowledge that you have, that's all coming from that third eye chakra. Third eye chakra does not just mean, oh, I feel like something bad's going to happen. It's a lot more than that. It's also that inner knowledge about ourself and reflections of our inner self and being able to be objective about it. And that does work with the third chakra because the third chakra is all about communication. And that doesn't necessarily mean, oh, well, how well am I going to write this email, or how well am I going to answer questions at a job interview? Communication, there are so many forms, and it's not just communicating with others or communicating with higher beings. It's also being able to communicate with yourself. It also helps with expressing your opinion. So if you're someone who has a hard time, if you and I don't mean that you're being mean or rude or argumentative, but if you have a hard time expressing your opinion or your thoughts or your ideas, having lapis lazuli with you, whether in your pocket or wearing it as earrings or a necklace, can help you with being able to speak up and choose those right words and feeling that little bit of confidence to be able to speak your opinion. It also harmonizes all three bodies. And by the bodies, I'm talking about your auric planes. You're talking about your physical plane, your astral plane, and, connecting basically when you hear people talk about, oh, mind, body, spirit. It really, again, brings all of those together and can get them in harmony and in sync. It also prevents negative thoughts from becoming karmic patterns. So if you're a person, and this can also work a little bit, you may need to work on your sacral or your solar plexus chakras for this more. But lapis lazuli, if you're somebody that's totally always like saying negative things about yourself, and I'm going to give you a silly example, and it's not necessarily for myself, but I am somebody, if I'm running late and once I get off the highway going to work, there are a bunch of, and if my husband's listening, he's probably going to thinking, well, you should leave earlier. And I should. But some mornings, if you are running late or you get stuck behind a slow farm vehicle on the back roads. Anyway, once I get off the highway, I'll say to myself, I'm going to hit every red light on the way to work. And you know what happens every single time? I hit every single red light. So lately, the one time I did take lapis lazuli with me when I was running late, and I had it in my car, and as I got off the highway, I was like, I am not going to hit one red light on my way to work. And guess what? I did not hit one red light, and I was not late. So I know that's kind of a silly example, but when you say negative things, they can become karmic patterns. And I know that lights turning red or green or yellow is not really a karmic pattern, but I just wanted to kind of give you an idea of how you can manifest things into the real world. So lapis lazuli can help prevent you from your negative thoughts becoming karmic patterns. It can also help you identify your gifts and abilities. So if you're someone who's struggling to understand what gifts or abilities you have, because we're all born with psychic abilities. And by psychic abilities, I'm not talking about, moving objects or, seeing dead people or seeing future events. You can have abilities and not do all that. But anyway, lapis lazuli does help you to be able to identify those things. It also recognizes psychic attack and can block and return that energy to its source. So if something negative is trying to attack you, it can help block that. And it's almost like, as a kid, do you remember that saying, I'm rubber, what is it? I'm rubber, you're glue, whatever bounces off of me sticks to you. That's lapis lazuli, okay? Whatever energy comes, it, causes it to bounce off it and sticks to the negative glue it came from, okay? It's also great for remembering your dreams. Now, there are better crystals out there for dream work, but if we're just talking about just some basic crystals to have, this will help you for remembering dreams. It also opens you to receive guidance. So if you are doing meditation, working with your spirit guides, spirit animals, anything like that, it can open you up to receive guidance from those higher beings. And then finally, it's excellent for past life regression meditation. All right? Now, lapis lazuli can also help us emotionally. First of all, it can help alleviate anger and negative thoughts. So this is kind of, again, combining that throat chakra with the third eye chakra. So if, you're feeling these emotions and you're having thoughts, holding lapis lazuli can really help you pull that anger down, to kind of let it go and to release it and to transmute those negative thoughts and negative energies into more positive ones. It can also protect us against anxiety. Working with the third eye chakra, it aids us in revealing our inner truth, which can help us emotionally. It also promotes self-awareness. Again, so this can all have emotional benefits on us because, maybe if we're not aware of how we're treating someone or our situation, then that can, create negative experiences and emotions and what have you. It also diminishes negative or uncomfortable feelings. And it also encourages dignity in friendship and social ability. So again, it works with that throat chakra with, being able to communicate appropriately. So lots of great emotional things. So if the communication side of you, it takes that communication side of you that is tied to not only your emotions, but can affect the emotions of others, then lapis lazuli can help you correct that and to make sure that communication is positive in nature and for everyone's highest good. Now, lapis lazuli has also, it's kind of like the spiritual healing, that there was a lot going on. The same with the physical healing. One thing I do want to say, though, is that remember that crystals are not a replacement for medical treatment. It is to work in conjunction with it. So if you feel that you have an illness or you're sick in any way, either call 911 or you need to go speak with your primary care physician. All right, so if you're going to use lapis lazuli, some of the physical things it can heal are it can help ease migraines. It can aid in respiratory and nervous system illness and disorders. It can heal our throat, our larynx, and our thyroid. And then, well, I can't speak from personal experience, but my husband, he will use lapis lazuli for his thyroid nodules when they get inflamed, and it always helps him out tremendously. Lapis lazuli can also clean bone marrow and the immune system. It can help with hearing loss and vertigo. It can help in lowering your blood pressure. It can also help reduce inflammation. Lapis lazuli is also said that it can be used after surgery or if you're healing from a sprained or a strained muscle or ligament. It can improve eyesight. Now this one, my research specifically said that it must be done with really super powerful intention. I wear glasses. I haven't tried it. So, but if someone's done any of these or utilized lapis lazuli in any of these ways for physical healing, please, I'd love to hear your story in the comments. It can also help out our lymph glands, our ear and nasal passages, and it's said to help those who have autism and or I'm going to say this wrong, Asperger's syndrome. Sorry about that. I would record it, but I'm not going to record it for one stumble, re-record for one stumble. So, I like to make my videos professional yet casual and try to make them fun. So, you know what? I'm human. But anyway, as I said, crystals and natural healing, holistic healing should always be used in conjunction with medical treatment. So again, if any of you have any experience with any of, whether it's the spiritual, physical, or emotional healing that you would like to share, would definitely love to hear it. All right, and let's go over a few other real quick tidbits of information. If you're meditating and you like to use essential oils, there are companion oils that work extremely well with this crystal, and that is bergamot, rose, and sandalwood. If there are affirmations you would like to say, just some quick and easy ones, are things like I am inspiration or I inspire my world with ease. Those are great. Remember that Lapis Lazuli, it stimulates inspiration and creativity. It assists in security and trust and self-confidence. It can bring clarity to our minds and enhance our intuition. And it is so useful in throat energy to support a higher level of clear and truer communication and being able to communicate with ease. And this crystal just helps us support ease in the body, and it strengthens our immune system. And like I said, there are a number of physical healing attributes associated with this wonderful crystal. So we are now going to move into our quick 2-minute Reiki hug. And for those of you that don't know what that is, it's 2 minutes of Reiki distance healing. I will send Reiki energy to you, and you can enjoy that. And like I said, I like to call it a Reiki hug. So let's go ahead and get ready for that. All right, everybody, if you're not already in a comfortable position, go ahead and get nice and comfy now. You could sit in a chair or a floor or a couch. You can sit in your recliner. If you feel like laying down, go ahead and do so. Just make yourself comfortable, pillows, blankets, whatever you need for the next few minutes. Please make sure that your cell phones are turned off or at least muted so you won't be bothered during your 2-minute Reiki hug. I want you to start taking some deep breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth, just relaxing, clearing your mind. If any thoughts pop up, I want you to imagine that they're a cloud and exhale them away, blow them all away. You don't need to deal with them right now. I want you to feel the present moment. I want you to feel how your clothes feel on your skin, the surface that you're sitting on, how it feels to you. Really being in the present moment. Again, breathing naturally now, but in through the nose, out through the mouth, continuing to relax. I want you to imagine that you have roots growing out of your body into the ground, and these roots go deep, deep into Mother Earth. And these roots are grounding you to Gaia, keeping you safe and secure, and nothing negative can happen. You are protected. And anytime if you feel anxious or nervous, or if something negative arises, go back to your breathing. All right, with that being said, give me a nice deep breath in, blow it out, and just relax these next 2 minutes. Just receive the energy. Don't expect anything. Keep that mind clear. This is your time. All right, we're going to start focusing on our breathing now and coming back to reality in 10 and 9, breathing in and out, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, you're aware of the room and where you're at, and 3, start wiggling your toes and your fingers, and 2, taking a nice deep breath in and out, and 1, go ahead and open your eyes if you're ready. Be sure if you're about to get up to do so slowly. Take the time you need to get back into the present moment. I would like to say thank you again for sharing this time with me. If you are interested in more Reiki healing, please visit www.yournaturalhealer.com. You can sign up there online. There's group distance Reiki sessions on Tuesdays, or you could even sign up for a 30-minute or a 60-minute private, individualized, focused Reiki session that's done at a distance for yourself. Again, I can't stress enough, thank you so much for sharing your time with me, and always go and live your best life, but make sure you do it the natural way. Namaste, my friends, until we meet again.